Hiya, primates! Links to the video we react to today are in the description below. Also be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as hit the little bell to be notified whenever we go live or put out new content. It really helps us out. Thank you so much. Enjoy the show! We're gonna do this one. Since this one's at least about Chainsaw Man, so maybe it's a little bit of horror, I don't know. But, we'll pretty much get through all of these hopefully next week. Alright, let's do it! Male victims still aren't taken seriously. Anime culture and the genius of Chainsaw Man. Alright, let's check it out.
The handling of the trauma suffered by male sexual assault victims has become an area of discourse online and in real life. It's rarely ever productive or helpful. If another male is an abuser, most people with ideals of male strength and masculinity will look down on you or question your sexuality. If your abuser was female, then you'll either get people dismissing you and wishing they were in your place, or people who also refuse to believe that a male cannot fight back and prevent himself from being a victim. These frankly disgusting viewpoints permeate both media and real victims' testimonies and confessions. However, I think there's a lot of media that shows male victims realistically and take them seriously, such as the Netflix show Baby Reindeer. For the sake of this video though, there's a genre and specifically a series that I want to both call out and commend. The hypersexualization of female characters in anime, alongside the very weird fucking attitudes towards underage characters within certain sectors of anime fandom, also play a major part in how audiences interpret actual sexual crimes and themes of grooming. Because as much as they deny it, chronically online anime fans are very much like book talk. Take My Hero Academia for example. Why the fuck is this purple guy's superpower to have sticky balls and prey on little girls as fan service? I understand he's their age, but anime is a diverse medium with a vast array of genres and themes, but it often falls into patterns of depicting women in overly sexualized and objectified ways, catering predominantly to male fantasies. These male fantasies then bleed over to things such as older women, power imbalances, and other concepts and scenarios that are prevalent in male sexual assault cases. The fact that Makima has been thirsted over and talked about so much within the fandom, despite her being a certified devil hunter, is a big example, which actually brings us to the Chainsaw series as a whole, since it's sorely misunderstood.
Well,
also, for spoilers, I will go to the characters chronologically and timestamp each section so you can avoid spoilers. Even if you haven't watched or read Chainsaw Man, you can still find the relevant timestamps, and it's still a great watch and read. Chainsaw Man has been my favorite new gen manga ever since I finished part 1 during my senior year of high school. The characters, plot, pacing, and relatability of it has always stood out to me, and I'm happy that the anime boosted its popularity. But I've got a bone to pick with the anime community. A lot of people write off the main character Denji as the stereotypical horny anime protagonist and all the risque moment in the series as fan service, but they're really missing one of the biggest themes in the series. Through the lens of its protagonist Denji, the series actually exposes the vulnerabilities and consequences of abuse, manipulation, grooming, and navigating trauma as a teenage boy. Denji's character development serves as a pretty accurate portrayal of the grooming process and how it's a calculated manipulation aimed at exploiting vulnerabilities for nefarious purposes.
Yeah, no, Makima's definitely manipulating the heck out of him.
Circumstances render him susceptible to manipulation. Orphaned, poor, and lacking in parental guidance or role models. After turning into Chainsaw Man for the first time, he asked Makima to comfort him with a hug, having never had anybody besides Pochita in his life. From this moment, Makima realizes Denji's weakness, a need for intimacy, love, and connection. Central to Denji's experience of grooming is his relationship with Makima, a powerful figure of authority within the Devil Hunter organization. Initially presented as a mentor and ally, Makima gradually reveals her true intentions as she exploits Denji's desire for affection and validation, more specifically sexual intimacy. Through subtle manipulation and emotional coercion, Makima exerts control over Denji, leveraging his need for acceptance to further her own agenda and to kill more devils. This leads to Denji associating intimacy and love with sex and Makima. And since a lot of these scenes are stylized and Denji is more than willing to accept her advances, anime fans of course thirst over Makima and go,
I wish I was that guy.
Power is one of the three main characters in Chainsaw Man and is known as the Blood Devil. In her first 2 episodes, seeing that Denji craves intimacy and sex so much, she offers to let Denji touch her breast if he rescues her cat. She then betrays him and tries to kill him. This is a very common theme in Chainsaw Man. However, as the series goes on, Power takes more of a sister role to Denji. They argue, bond, and care for each other almost like siblings. I'd say Power is the most wholesome of Denji's female relationships in the start of Chainsaw Man due to her actually eventually eventually treating Denji as a friend even though she manipulated his awkwardness with women and his desire for intimacy. I'll revisit Power later in the video though for my fellow manga readers. I will say that Himino is probably the most realistic and triggering example of attempted grooming in Chainsaw Man, and at minimum it was definitely sexual assault or sexual harassment. To sum it up, Himino gets very drunk along with Denji and steals his first kiss from him, then proceeds to vomit in his mouth. So
yeah, I
basically
remember
a horrible
that scene.
first time.
Wait, you didn't want to show the vomit, really?
Everybody lets Himino take Denji to her house because, I mean, hey, fuck it, Japan's age of consent is 16. Big jump from 14, guys. Congratulations.
To be yeah, they freaking went from 14 to 16 now. From 13 years old to 16. Wow. Congratulations, Japan. You've moved forward so freaking much.
Anyways, at her house, she gets on top of Denji and offers him Bam Bam time. Denji, still infatuated with the woman who saved him from poverty, refuses, and Himino goes to sleep. Good on Himino for taking no as an answer, the bare minimum.
Certified pedophile.
Anyways, I know I'll have
everyone's just using that Drake song,
saying that
the
Denji is 16,
song.
so it's legal in Japan. However, the scenario of a woman in her 20s taking a drunk 16-year-old home after taking his first kiss and vomiting in his mouth is not a good look whatsoever. Of course, to us watching it as entertainment, it's a funny sequence of events, and the scenario is still very dark and continues the pattern of Denji being taken advantage of sexually.
Nah, son, I think even when I watched it, I still felt really weird about it. Like, I still feel weird about anyone under the age of 18 getting hit on by an adult. It's just weird. Even in, like, what is it, Persona 3 with Miss Toriumi? I'm like, my inner monologue is like, nah, we're like 18, right? Like, our character, because I don't know they don't ever confirm what age you are, at least not that I've noticed. And it's still pretty weird, bro. It's still pretty awkward.
It hasn't been animated yet, so I'm not sure how to pronounce it, Rize or Rize or Reze, but just don't dick ride me for my pronunciation. Anyways, Rize is one of the characters in the manga who I'd say is the most ambiguous with the outcome of her manipulation of Denji. She starts off by seducing and betraying him for the gun devil by biting off his tongue and taking him on a fake date. But after all of the fighting, it's revealed that she actually did want to run away with Denji and may have reciprocated his feelings. It'd be interesting to see her come back, but at the end of the day, it seems like every woman that shows romantic interest to Denji ends up trying to kill him and manipulates him using his cravings for intimacy. Which brings us to the climax and ending of part 1 of Chainsaw.
Oh, what major spoilers? I don't know if I want to watch the spoilers. Oh no! Alright, screw it, let's do it.
So Man is what I really think debunks the claims of all the sexual scenes being fan service. After the death of his last male best friend, shout out to Bean, at his own hands, Denji is devastated and can't think of anywhere else to go except for one place. His manipulator's apartment. It's in this scene that everything kinda clicks into place. Makima comforts him and revels in the fact that he's completely broken. Then Power comes. The only woman so far in his life who has gotten close to him with no ulterior motive is at the door with a cake for his 17th birthday. Then Makima blows a hole into her. Makima then reveals that as the control devil, her main goal was to completely break Denji after building him from nothing and to ensure his full loyalty to her. This mirrors the technique of alienation that groomers tend
she is the control demon, I mean...
to utilize against their victims. I think that event cemented the theme of grooming within Chainsaw Man and how Makima was purposefully shown to be the perfect, powerful, sexual woman, even to the audience. And she's also one of the only female characters in the series at this point that treated Denji as a human. This event also leads to the most recent chapter and Denji finally becoming self-aware of his grooming. To be quite honest, I wrote this section only for chapter 166, and it was only just now after I finished chapter 167 where I was like, yeah, this is gonna need a whole segment. And it's
rip my monetization.
I wanted to talk about how in chapter 166 Denji is finally coming to terms with the fact that he associates sex and intimacy as being exclusive only to each other. He's in the middle of a breakdown, basically saying that his biology and his hormones and his drive for sex is getting in the way of his mission and how he's feeling about all this grief and happenings. It's actually a very interesting tweet I saw when I was like first drafting this video essay about how Denji mirrors the Makima finger bite scene that I showed earlier in the video when he's going through this breakdown, which is showing that he has some sort of trauma or at least association and flashbacks with that event when he's severely stressed. But yeah, chapter 167, Jesus fucking Christ, man. I'm not laughing because I find it funny, but it's just like, it's funny weird how I'm writing this video and I was like just about to finish and do my last segment, and then today's chapter came out, and if you see in the picture I put, I literally was like, you know, I hope Fujimoto, you know, goes further with this, and yeah, we get Denji getting essayed once again. I think that though, like, this video will age like wine in terms of like how people receive this new chapter, and if Fujimoto actually uses this as character development. I think regardless of gender, essay and grape scenes are pretty gratuitous at times and most times don't have a bearing on the plot, but I think it would be very interesting to see Denji finally possibly have a healthy relationship. I'm not sure, because I guess it was the devil making her do it, but I don't know. I'd say this is a pretty good chapter despite what happened in terms of where the story could go. So I guess my original draft of the script of hoping Fujimoto does something with it might actually go somewhere. So I know time will tell, but I just need to include this clip about 167. And honestly, I think the reception to it will tie into what I think for the last leg of this video.
And I mean, it's pretty obvious that the whole point was pretty much manipulation. A lot of people really got turned off by the show.
Man, as a
but since the mafia, since everyone, Denji's pretty much always been manipulated.
Shining a light on the pervasive nature of exploitation in society. I also think with the way that people perceive Chainsaw Man as a series and the scenes inside really shows that there's still a lot of work to be done on how we as a society view male victims. It also shows that even if the male is so-called willing, that power imbalances in female sexual predators should be taken just as seriously as male predators, even if the situation doesn't look that bad. Makima's position of authority within the Devil Hunter organization in her older age gave her unchecked power over Denji, enabling her to exploit his vulnerabilities and hormones. Other characters use Denji's subsequent hypersexuality and need for intimacy against him, and some women like Himeno were just
certified pedophile.
As the series is progressing though, Chainsaw Man is starting to delve into the lasting effects of grooming on survivors, illustrating how manipulation can leave lasting scars on one's psyche, and the ways that survivors cope and heal. And I'm frankly still excited to see how it's handled regardless of 167's events. That's basically all I wrote for this video, but just as a reminder, if you're a male victim, it doesn't make you weaker or less than, or, you know, there's not always a quote-unquote excuse that people will give you of, you know, why didn't you fight back, why didn't you say no. I don't know, for a while I'm not sure if I would quantify it as SA, but I know in my case, it was one time it was a friend's mom, and I burned my arm, so she came over to help me, and I had my shirt off, and then I was sitting down, she kind of felt my stomach, groin area, and was like, wow, you're such a strong, like, you have such a nice body for your age. And then nothing happened after that, but it's kind of weird how when I bring it up with people, they're always like, oh, was your friend's mom hot? Or like, that's a compliment, you should have took it as a compliment, maybe she wasn't even feeling there. But then sometimes I think, I'm like, well, if the genders were reversed and it was like a 40-year-old man touching a girl down there and being like, wow, you have a nice body for your age, we would probably throw them under the jail. So in terms of how you see it, never feel that it's not enough, or you shouldn't feel a way about it, or that, you know, it was just a moment of weakness. That's what I would say. Sorry to yap at the end, but I feel like with a topic like this, with jokes that I put throughout the video, there should be some sort of moral or
no, absolutely. This is a really great in-depth look at like the overall context of Chainsaw Man.
Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Should be a good vid.
Thank you so much, Primates, for watching this all the way to the end. Also, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as hit the little bell for a rainbow explosion that will go ahead and notify you every single time we go live or put out new content. Thank you so much, goodbye, and thanks for swinging by.